Hey everyone, thank you for watching today's video. I am going to be doing 3 looks with the new Natasha Denona Yucca Palette. I have this in my recent Sephora haul and I saw quite a few requests to do 3 looks with the palette, so that is what we're jumping into today. Let's get into look number 1. Alright, welcome. So I'm excited to jump into look number 1. I asked in my Sephora haul if there was any certain shades you wanted to see used, and I saw a comment right away of saying, can you use the yellow in the corner because I don't know what to do with this. And I was like, because I know exactly what to do with this neon yellow shade. Okay, I like the challenge. So if you are new to my channel, I'm a little bit more basic when it comes to eyeshadows. Love me a good brown smoky eye, love me a good one gold eyeshadow, and that's it. But also Natasha Denona is one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas. I buy a lot of her eyeshadow palettes. I decided to purchase this one from Sephora. There's a few new shades in here. There's some beautiful foils and metallics. And also I do love greens. I love golds. Love a little bit of the grungy tones in here. So when I want to do something a little bit different from my beige, then I reach for a color scheme like this. So I like the idea of challenging myself to see if I can figure out how to use the yellow in here and still have it be a look that I think is like quick. I lean more towards like the quick and easy looks to pull off, not using as many shadows but still creating something really beautiful. And I think we can create something kind of fun and vibrant with this shade right here. So let's zoom in. So first up, what I've decided to do is I'm gonna take this matte shade in Pkwy. I'm probably gonna pronounce all of these wrong, just to let you know. I'm using the Singe Beauty brush in the E03 to add this into my crease. I did also get an affiliate code recently with Natasha Denona, which I thought was really exciting. I saw that they have started an affiliate program for influencers, which is cool because I don't feel like Natasha is the most known for working with influencers. So I thought that that was very exciting to see. So my affiliate discount code to use on the website is Samantha, and it gets you 15% off. The shade right away is very interesting to me. I was looking at it like, did I accidentally like mix 2 shades? Did I not clean my brush? But as always, I mean, you can see, I just used my Sigma switch to clean off all of my brushes before I start it. But it's more of this like, I should look to see what they actually describe. No, let me try to describe the shades to you without just reading from them. But it's more of like that grungy yellow, but it also has some green to it. Like it almost kind of looks, I don't know if you can see the swatch on my hand, but to me, it looks kind of like a bruise. That's like when I looked down at my hand, I was like, oh, kind of looks like a bruise. But I'm just blending that all into my crease. Okay, I went back and forth on what I wanted to do here, but I'm actually gonna pick up the shade Elysian. I have switched how I feel like I want to do this eye look 4 times already. I'm gonna use the Singe Beauty E04. Okay, I really hope that this works out in the way I'm envisioning. So I'm just gonna start to tap this all over the lid. The shade is stunning. It's going on so smoothly. I'm getting a little bit of fallout here, but that shade is beautiful. I feel like I could also have used my fingers and it would have just as easily applied. And then sometimes you get less fallout when you use your fingers, but okay. I feel like every time I look at Natasha Denona looks, it just seems like the eyeshadows just blur together so well. And I watch the videos and I'm like, how are you doing that? And I think Natasha Denona, her Instagram page is my most watched for makeup tutorials. And not even like specifically, you know, using her products or whatnot. Like it's just sometimes I want to see the techniques, because I have pretty much the same technique that I do for my eyeshadow every time, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think that's a lot of people, you know, tend to do their eyeshadow the same way every day. But I feel like whenever I go to her Instagram, I just get new ideas or new things that I want to try, and I end up feeling inspired by her Instagram page when it comes to makeup. And this is coming from someone who, I say, like, I'm not the most visually creative. It's kind of hard for me to picture looks in my mind, or to know, like, if I look at a makeup look, I'm not sure how to deconstruct that. My mind isn't quite sure what to do. So it helps me to have the visual ideas, visual cues, if you will. Okay, I think the shade's so stunning though. Oh, I got a dinner tonight. Okay, but next step, let's see if this plays out how I want it to. So next up, what I was thinking to do with this more like neon shade was to use it as a liner. So that's my thought, and I kind of wanted to do like more of like a fun like graphic liner. I'm not a graphic liner kind of girl. I am more on like what I am considering like a makeup low buy this year. The Sephora haul that I just did, that was my first like bigger Sephora haul that wasn't just like repurchases that I've done on my channel so far. We're, you know, halfway through the year. But one thing when I think of eyeshadow palettes is when I find palettes that I get inspired, especially to do things outside of my comfort zone, that's something that I feel like really makes a palette speak to me. And that's what I think of this one. When I was doing my haul and I had a, like just my first impression, because it literally, like it came while I was filming. And so like I opened the whole package and everything on camera, and you see my face when I see it for the first time in person. I was like, wait a second. So that is always a good feeling, you know, because you hope that you're not like wasting money on makeup or you're buying another. I have so many eyeshadow palettes. I'm just spraying a small angle brush from Sigma to get it wet to kind of help make it a little bit more liner-like, I guess. That to me signifies like a palette that really will excite me and won't just become another one that kind of sits on my shelf kind of thing. So I'm picking up that Camu with a Sigma liner brush, and I'm just gonna start to attempt to do something liner wise. I don't know if this will work with like the shades, but it's what we're gonna try to do today. Okay, I don't feel like this is quite coming out the way I had envisioned it in my mind, but I'm also like not mad. It's definitely something a little bit different for me. I wasn't planning to go as heavy in like the front, but I don't mind that. Maybe I will go a little bit more like on top, because I feel like this is where it's really popping. In my mind, I had envisioned it more like out here and doing the liner, like more of a liner look that way. But I think also just like a fun, not necessarily like a cut crease, but just something a little different. I thought about just doing this as like an inner corner, but I wanted to like try to challenge myself to do a little bit more. This might be a fun palette to do a palette bingo with. Should I do a palette bingo included as a third look? I love that I asked this as like when this video goes up, like all 3 looks will already be in here. If I haven't done a palette bingo in this video, would you want a palette bingo? Or also, I think my members exclusive for June, it looks like the most voted on topic was beauty. And so maybe I'll put a palette bingo option in there and mention the Natasha. Maybe they would want to see that. I do have memberships on YouTube, so I do a members exclusive video every month. And I let you vote on the like theme, I think is what I usually end up calling it. Like, do you want to see beauty, books, fashion, fitness, around the home, a vlog? And then once we have that, I do another poll to see like what specific video you want me to do. And then we go from there. And then I also do have monthly live chats with those on the 2nd and 3rd tier levels. Tier and levels are the same thing. I'm just concentrating so hard. But we also do a live chat every month, which is so fun. Again, it's not exactly how I envisioned it coming out, but I still used the shade. It's a little bit more with like the colors that we already have down. It pulls a little bit more on the green side, but I also don't mind it. It's different. It's not, this isn't a type of look that I do very often myself, but I think it's kind of fun with the little bit darker shimmer with some greens in here. It's not, it doesn't necessarily scream like graphic liner to me by any means, but I would also never really think to put this into my crease. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more of that shade on the inner part of my eye too. And then I'm just gonna take the blending brush and just kind of blend along the crease just for harsh edges, which I like. Again, I was going for a liner, but plans change. We didn't know if it was gonna happen, but the good thing is it's just makeup and we can wash it off. But actually I have a dinner tonight and I'm like, this is just what I'm gonna wear. This is how I'm gonna rock it. I just added some black liner from Glossier to my waterline, and then for the lower lash line, I know, I just know that I'm pronouncing all these names wrong. I just cleaned off my small angle brush, so I'm gonna come in and grab some of that. And I'm gonna place this really close to the lower lash line. I don't know, the more that I like put that yellow like in the center there, and it kind of is like almost more of a, it's like a neon green, but not like so neon-y. I actually am really digging it. This green shade I also think is beautiful. I think this will be really pretty all over the lid too. And then I'm gonna grab some of the shade Flax with the Singe Beauty EO5. And I'm just gonna kind of lightly buff those two shades together for the lower lash line. Sometimes I get a little too happy smoking out my lower lash line. I get a little carried away. That is a pretty deep shade, so I'm just taking a concealer brush. I don't have any extra product on here, but I'm just kind of cleaning up the lower lash line. I actually like this. It was not what I had planned. It's not what I had expected, but I still like it because I feel like it's still out of the norm for me, but at the same time, it's not so out of the norm. It's not so unlike my usual style, but it's definitely still a little bit different. I'm kind of vibing. I want to do just a little bit on the actual inner corner, so I'm going to take Pkwy and just a Sigma Beauty. This is just a short shader brush. I'm just going to kind of lightly tap into it and just put a little bit on the inner corner. Not too much, but just like a little something. Wait, I'm just gonna add on some mascara and lip and see what we think. I just have to say, I'm feeling some type of way about this look. My dog just let out a gigantic sigh and was like, I know, I've been sitting here for an hour watching you take pictures of yourself and videos and TikToking and all of the things, but like, I really actually love how this came out. I think this looks beautiful, and I can tell that I feel really confident in this eye look. When I tell you I just filmed like 30 pieces of short form content, like, I really, really love this eye look. I'm also using the new LYS Mascara, still thinking that it's beautiful, but like these subtle pops of green, and again, it's neon, but it's not too much. The inner corner adds a little bit of something. That shimmer is just so like on the eyes. I'm feeling this first look. Not at all what I thought I was gonna do. Not at all what I thought was gonna happen, and I'm not gonna lie, there was a few points where I was like, this is not good. You're gonna have to start over. You're kind of on a time crunch. But I am really, really happy with how this first look came out. I'm feeling really inspired by this palette. So we got 2 more looks to do. Let's go. All right, we are back. We're gonna do look number 2 with the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. So for this look, I wanna do a little bit more neutrally, but still like glam is the goal. I'm actually gonna start out in the same way with this Pkwy shade and the Singe Beauty EO3. And I'm just gonna work that into my crease, like a little bit above the crease. I just thought this was a really interesting shade because it feels like kind of 2 shades in one. So I'm just gonna run that back and forth. And I'm gonna take the Singe Beauty EO5. I'm gonna pick up some of that Cathedral shade. I used this on the lower lash line in my first look, but I'm actually going to kind of build it on the outer part of my eye. I'm getting a little bit of fallout from this shade, but just kind of adding a little bit of dimension out here. This I think looks really pretty. I'm gonna take a little bit of a smaller brush and just grab some of that Flax. This is the Singe Beauty EO2. And just kind of blend into the crease and a little bit on the outside. Just, again, I'm just trying to go like a little bit deeper with the shades, but not like too aggressively, you know. Grabbing the EO4, I want to take some of this Plantasia. I know I'm not getting any of these right, but I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of that. Ooh, shimmer. And put that right on the center. Oh, that's really beautiful. Adding a little bit more. Again, I could use my finger. I just wanted it to be a little bit more like precise in where I was putting it. I'm just taking blending brush, gonna blend that. I feel like I want to do one more shimmer on top. I'm just gonna use the same brush. I'm just gonna flip it to a different side. I'm just gonna pick up some of Ray just to see like what this shade looks like. I'm just gonna tap again, just right, focusing right in the center with this one. That's pretty. It doesn't like change it a whole lot. It just adds a little extra something. Again, I was like trying to go for like still something more, I wouldn't consider this neutral, but something kind of with my technique that I use most often for myself. And then I'm just gonna come back in and add any shades like this green one on the outer part of my eye. I was actually going for something like a little bit darker. Again, it's not quite what I like expected the look to come out with. I had something a little bit different in my head, but I still really like it. And it's green and gold. What a surprise. I need to come out with a green and gold palette. Faux show. I'm just gonna dust away some of the fallout, and then when I do get more fallout, I just come back in with my like loose powder and just kind of clean it up. We also got an eyelash. Am I supposed to make a wish? Or is that only if someone else gets the eyelash? Just adding some black eyeliner from Glossier. For the lower lash line, doing something kind of similar, just coming back in with the Calthea, the green shade, and running that on the lower lash line. Here, because I feel like this first look is, it's not the same as the, or the second look is not the same as the first one, but it's more similar than I was originally going for, but again, that's okay. That's all right. And then I think I'm gonna take a little bit of, I'm gonna do a little bit of this citrine. Again, just same brush. I don't know if this will make it look like a bruise or not, but never know until you try. Okay. Again, not exactly what I was going for. But I still like it. I do love green and I love the golds, so still happy with how this look came out. And it's very easy. Like so far with the two looks that I've done, I feel like the palette is really easy to work with. The mattes aren't hard to blend out. The shimmers are real simple. So my air conditioning just turned on. I'm gonna add my mascara and lip, and then I'll show you the finished look. Okay, I just added on the LYS Mascara lip combo, same as what I've been doing. My dog wanted a big size. She's like, I know, so boring. But from Rare Beauty and the Natasha Denona gloss. So this is look number 2 with the Yucca palette. Again, not exactly what I was going for, but, and it's a little bit closer to look 1 than I was expecting it to be, but you know, I love greens and yellows, and I still think that this look turned out very pretty. So one more look to go. Let's hop into the final look, number 3. We are back and it is time for look number 3, the Natasha Denona Yucca eyeshadow palette. All right, so I actually just went and wiped off look number 2. We're coming back for number 3. So if my eyes look funky or even some of my base makeup, that would be why. My eyes are not enjoying me because I have pretty sensitive eyes, so they were like, girl, what you doing? When I started to wipe my makeup off 20 minutes after applying it, but everything's fine. I'm going to attempt to do a different look since looks 1 and 2 I felt like came out pretty similar to each other. So I don't really have a lot in mind for this one. We're just gonna go for something and see what we come up with. So I'm first gonna take the shade Valley with the Singe Beauty EO3, and I'm going to this one into my crease. So this is kind of like our neutral brown. I'm actually just gonna kind of add this all over the lid too. We're just really winging it with this one. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to do 2 looks in one day, but we're doing it. This means I will be able to do no looks tomorrow because my eyes will be so irritated, but it's fine. Then grabbing the EO2, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this kind of like orangish shade, Ixia. Another matte shade in here. And then I'm gonna kind of focus this on the outer part of the eye, and then also kind of bring it in through the crease. I was just kind of curious what this shade would look like. It's almost kind of making like a burnt orange type of color. It's giving me fall vibes as we're having a fall weather in Vegas. I mean, it's like only a high of 85 today, so everyone's like, wow, it's so much cooler. Okay, I'm just kind of running through with the bigger blending brush. Oh, it's pretty with green eyes though. I feel like just for fun, I kind of want to continue on a little bit of this more orangish route. So the shade Fushi, I thought it said sushi. Picking that up with the EO one and just gonna kind of run this on the inner part of my eye. This I feel like has some like hints of that like mustard yellow in here too. Okay, I'm definitely feeling very fall right now. Feeling fall, but I don't mind it. I still kind of want to do a shimmer with this look too. Like I don't feel like I want to do, like I'm not really feeling in an all matte mood tonight. So I'm actually gonna use my finger and just kind of lightly tap into Morbi, just very, very gently. I'm just gonna kind of tap right in the center. I'll say I feel like for the shimmers, since I've used a few now in looks, I feel like some of the shimmers are kind of pulling the same. Even the Plantasia that I used in the last one, like from looking at it, I was thinking it was going to be a little bit different, but I feel like they're kind of pulling a little bit more similar to each other than I would like, because again, there's been some eye looks that I think I'm gonna get something different, and then I feel like it's kind of pulling more similar. I like this though, because it's like a little bit of a halo eye. That is my only like complaint that I would say right now. I'm glad we have that Elysian shade that I used the first day. I feel like that's the one that I feel like is the most different. But even kind of like Ray and the Makaya, like I feel like I wish they were just a little bit more differences between a couple of the shades in here, because then I think it would just, obviously it would just give you more options. So that's really my only complaint that I can come up with right now. Again, I'm just gonna use the Glossier eyeliner. Ooh, my eyes are looking red. The lower lash line, I want to try this Willow shade. I was gonna try not to go for greens. I'm gonna use a small angle brush, but I kind of just want to see what the shade looks like since I haven't used it yet. So just running this close on the lower lash line, and then picking up that smaller brush, come in with a little bit of Valley and a little bit of Ixia. These two here, and run them on the lower lash line. And then just for a pop of something in the inner corner, I'm going to come back into that Plantasia shade and just add that right in here. Like again, I don't know if you can tell, like I just feel like they're kind of similar. Okay, shadows are down. I'm just going to add on some mascara. I have been using the new LYS mascara, so I'm just gonna add this, maybe do something with my hair, and show you the final look. All right, we've added the mascara, so this is it for the third and final look. And to wrap up some of my first thoughts on the Natasha Denona Yucca palette, so I will say after my first look, I was like very excited. I thought it looked very fun. I was very inspired to try to do different styles of looks with this palette. And you know, my second look, I had something different in mind, and I felt like it's similar to the first. And even this one, I still feel like it's still different enough in the way that I was going with like the browns and the oranges, but then using some of the shimmers, like I said, I just feel like a lot of those are so similar. Even something like the greens in here, like the Calathea and the Willow, not that they're like the exact same, but they're still like along that similar like wavelength. I just wish there was a little bit more variety in the palette. I still feel inspired by it. I still like all of the looks that I did. I'm someone who likes greens, I like golds, I like the browns, I like the yellows. So this is a good color scheme for me, and obviously that was a big reason why I went for the palette. Like if this would have been like more like blues, I don't think that I would have, because I don't go for blue a lot. So it's still a color scheme that I like, and I'm still interested in exploring more. But also what's funny to me is I'm not the most visual person. So sometimes I will go to like Instagram or YouTube to try to get some color inspo or like look inspo on what to do. And I remember the first time that I looked up this palette on Instagram, I felt like I just kept seeing the same look. And I was like, oh no, that makes sense because like it, you know, the palette pulls yellow and green, so I get why I'm seeing a lot of what I felt like was a really similar look. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it might just be because that's what you're gonna get, unless you just do something like playing with the matte browns, playing with the matte oranges. Obviously not then, but if you try to incorporate some of the other shades, I feel like you're gonna lean towards getting the same look. So that might appeal to some of you, that might not appeal to some of you. You might think maybe a 5-pan palette would be like a better way to go with something like this, or again, like if you're not a green yellow fan, might not be your absolute favorite. So I'm definitely curious, and with now keeping that in mind, of still trying to push myself to do something more different and more different and more different with the palette. But like even the Camu, which I feel like a lot of people are, because again, I posted a picture of the palette today on my Instagram and I had a couple comments saying I hope you use that shade. It wasn't even really like all that like neon to me, like it wasn't that this like out there shade type of thing. Like I thought that it was easy to work with, which is great, but it's not quite what I was expecting. So I don't know if you have any other color suggestions or shades you want to see me try to use together, please do let me know. But I really wanted to try to do a 3 looks with the new Natasha Denona palette. I would love to know if you grabbed this one or if you are planning to grab this one. Again, if you get it from the Natasha Denona website, you can use my code Samantha for 15% off. But I hope you enjoyed seeing a 3 looks style of video. I don't do these often on my channel, but if you want to see more of them, please do let me know. And as always, if you enjoyed this one, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope you also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll see you in my next one.